Alright. Everyone and everything here, and nothing and no one. For now, as I've said, I'd like to remain anonymous. I got a name. You'll know it. You'll all know it. Soon enough. My actual name that I choose to go by. Not my slave name. So, this video is going to be about the ego. The one we've all heard so much about. The one we all are taught to try to wrestle with and fight against and remove that ego. And I think I've seen maybe one other person cover this. I just would like to add a little bit more. Yeah, add on, not subtract, because they covered it quite well. And I don't follow them. I don't really follow anyone all that hardcore, so I don't know if. But all I know is all the stuff I've seen. I'm like sitting there watching, and I'm like looking like, all right, these people know what they're talking about. Oh, cool. All right, yeah. Oh, awesome. Okay, cool. Yeah, they got that. Oh, yeah. And then I'm like, what? No, that's not it at all. What? Duh. It's pretty much all that happens to me now is, since remembering, I'm just like, great. That's another video. How many of these am I supposed to do? What? Why do I gotta do this? Why isn't someone, how come there's not more people talking about this? And then I gotta hear the stupid guides. Why do you think, Ed? So you're saying, so you don't want to do the video? You don't want to, just in case if it's not out there? Or what if someone doesn't see that? And I'm like, yeah, I got it. I'll do it. All right, just shut up. I guess I gotta do everything. I'm just kidding. I'm doing my little tiny part. Referring to my service here, nothing else. So, ego and the way you should be with it, operate with it. It's not to try and get rid of it. That's, like, no offense to anyone, but man, that has been like one of the most annoying things. And mind you all, like I said, I don't have any books or read anything and didn't do any research on nothing. Dude, I wasn't looking for none of this stupid stuff that isn't stupid. It's just, I'm a little frustrated at the moment talking about it, but I wasn't going out of my way to be like, I want to be enlightened. Which, it's making me laugh because just even saying that, that doesn't even make sense. How can you be enlightened when you're already light? Everything is already light. And yet again, I say something else, I'm like, another video. Great. I love what I do, and I love my job. I love being. It's just funny because, like, there's other things I want to do with my life, and they're kind of in a similar vein, and for me to be starting this one first is just like, are you fucking kidding me? I'm so new to this. It hasn't even been like a year. I don't even know if I'm at the half a year mark. But the things that I've been wanting to do for, I don't know, my whole life, like, I just gotta be patient with that. Alright, whatever. I know myself. I trust the process. So, ego. The things that I have to say on this channel I've come to realize, and I guess I realized it a couple of months ago or so, a little bit back, but I guess I let myself forget, and now I'm reminded again. I knew that I've always known I was put on this planet to shake things up. Shaken, not stirred. You know, to spice this gumbo and stir. Oh wait, I just said shaken, not stirred. Rewind that. Deleted. So I've always known that, and I just didn't think that. I don't know. At first, I thought, like, when this all started happening to me, this whole spiritual community, I was like, yeah, I can't wait to jump on board. And I'm realizing, like, certain things I have to say might be shaking things up a little bit, just based on certain things that are, like, going around. And I'm just, like, sitting there, like I said, and I listen to people talking. I'm like, yeah. And then I'm like, oh man, that's not it at all. You missed it there. And it sucks, but it's awesome. It's just, I'm just gonna stick to saying these are all just suggestions. Don't look at me as any type of figure or anything. I ain't gonna be writing no books or holding classes and stuff like that. That ain't my deal. I just want to dance. I'm not a dancer. But I love dancing. Yeah, so for a while now we've all been told about ego and removing it. Or not all, but you know, it's out there if you come across it. The thing is, I'm gonna try to make it as plain and simple as possible and keep that layman's thing going. That's what this whole thing is about. You're actually supposed to be in loving relationship with your ego. It's under the whole oneness and Ra's law of one. You're supposed to, it's part of yourself. So that's the whole thing about what we're learning here, is it's all supposed to be, we're trying to be, or trying to get people to recognize or to be in love with all of themselves. Your ego would be one of those things. Everything in existence, which is everything. Well, let's just start with here. Or let's jump to the every. That which you cannot see is you. So it's supposed to be simple. I'm being all cryptic sounding. Oh, so anyway, being in loving relationship with your ego, and this is where it's gonna kind of go away. Where I'm like, I don't know who's gonna be open-minded enough to hear. Not everyone's like you know, myself, where I'm like open to being wrong. That's the thing that confuses me the most about a lot of people being here on this planet. Is it's like, I don't understand, and that was before I even awakening. Just me as a regular old dumb stupid person who I don't know anything, you know. Like, I never understood when I come across people who, like, you tell them some information, or like, let them know, maybe it could be this or whatever, you know, suggest something. They're like, no, what? No, that doesn't line up with what I was told, with what I've known my whole life. Get away from me, devil! You know what I mean? They freak all out, and you're like, whoa, dude. All I did was just make a statement, or like hypothesize something. Like, I'm not telling you anything or to do or change anything. I'm just like, I listen to what you say, and I'm like, oh yeah, well, it also could, you never know. And then people get all bent out of shape. I don't get that. I've always been open to being wrong and open to this is the thing that like it's. That's why you really got to learn to love that separation. It's so funny because it's like people act as though they haven't lived here and had things that they held on to so tightly and swore that they knew whatever they believed to be true, and then found out that later on in life, like, people act like they never had that moment, like, wait, what? You mean so what, basically what I've been believing, I thought I knew to be, this was true my whole life, and it was all just bullshit, it was a lie? Like, this is my point. What's one more thing? And it's so funny because it's like, you know, you get people who will mention stuff like, I believe the government's lying to me, and, you know, lying about this and lying about that, and they go off, and then when you actually have some, like, information to kind of add on that just validates what they're saying, and you go, yeah, you know, and this is it, or this also might be part of it, they're like, whoa, I don't know about that, or that sounds like make-believe, that's made up, you're crazy, and you're like, dude, I'm reinforcing your position. And that's what I mean about the separation's funny, is people think they're arguing and they have a problem with you, and they don't realize that they're arguing with and have a problem with themselves. The sane thinks, the insane thinks the sane to be insane, and they think themselves, the insane, to be sane. It's just an interesting thing to watch, especially like having been a part of it for so long, and then to now not. It's like the craziest thing. You just sit here and you watch people, and it's like, oh, all right. But back to ego and how you can be in loving relationship with it. Let's snap this along. The thing is, and before I say that, I'll reinforce why. I think that's the thing people have. Why? So you need to know the why, so it can click and make sense to you. So let's serve that up. Well, put it this way: for those who believe in God or a divine creator or universe, a source, whatever, well, you have an ego, and I'm sure you've noticed that other people have them too. That probably you notice that everybody has an ego that you've ever come across. Even the ones who you're like, oh, that guy is nice, he's not all about ego. Yeah, but it's there. He's just not his ego's just not out of whack. You know, that's what we really mean. At least for me, when I say things like that, like, oh, cool, someone who's not all ego, you know, ego trip, like, you know, like you say, it's in check, right? Well, moving on to what to do with it. Number one, no. Okay. So, let's say source, God, whatever you want to call it, created everything, created you, created grass, trees, ocean, blah, 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 animals. Well, he created your ego and he gave it to you. So, first thing is, why would God give you something that you need to throw in the trash? Or that you need to step on? Or ignore? Which, ignoring is automatically, that's not acknowledgement. Acknowledgement's within love. To acknowledge is to appreciate, to know and understand, to love. So the thing is step one, right off the bat, I find that gratitude goes a little bit of gratitude goes a long way. And what I did, again, I don't say anything I haven't done myself. What I chose to do is just simply tell my ego, thank you. And to tell my ego that I appreciate everything it's doing and what it's doing for me and through me and for its service. And I tell my ego that it's working and functioning perfectly and to keep going. And I go, you're kicking ass, ego. Keep it up. Anytime, especially when I feel that come on, which I never really been one much to really get all ego whacked out. I don't know, I'm kind of a really chill dude. But when I have, like I do, I feel, oh, no. No, that can't. And then because now, because I know, and I'm like, oh, and I'm like, oh, dude, thank you. And sometimes I even hear him, he's like, yeah, just keeping you on your toes. And I'm like, you're doing great. You almost got me that time. I almost got worked up. Keep it up. Let's continue to grow and expand in love together. And he's like, I got your back, man. I got you. So, yeah, man, just love your ego. Say thank you. If you find it hard to love anything, just start with saying thank you, whether it be out loud or just in your heart. You could even start, say if you can't do it with like people or somebody you feel like wronged you, just start with saying thank you. I picked this trick up off of, I think his name is Zach Bush, who's awesome, by the way. And I haven't really watched much of him, but I saw him on like I don't know, it was like Know Thyself podcast or something like that. Andre something or other. Yeah. And I don't know, I watched that whole thing and I got a lot of information, but the number one thing I took away was when he mentioned if he would have like said thank you to trees along the way, on the way, like, oh, the interview would have gone better. And for some reason, me being me, I was like, what if I tried doing that with everything? So I just started thinking like my breakfast and the pan I'm cooking with, and breathing in, thanking, breathing out you. And then all of a sudden it occurred to me to know everything is, it just like was like it happened all on its own. And saying thank you to everything, the concrete I'm driving on, you know. Maybe I forgot about my clothes. I don't know if I remember, but I've thanked everything collectively, so it's in there, but I haven't gotten to these individually yet. But yeah, so thank your ego, and also works with your shadow self. It works with everything. Who or what in all of existence does not appreciate being appreciated? And think about the power of that thank you, the gratitude, the acknowledgement. Anyone who's ever had a crappy job, or almost any kind of job, think about what a difference it would have made, whether if you're lucky enough to have gotten it, or you're one of the ones who thought to yourself, if you left a place or something, or when you've been there, and you said to yourself, Jesus Christ, it was a simple, all I do this and do that and did all this. This wasn't my work. That was their work. I'm not even getting paid to do this, but I did that. And you're going to come up to me and complain about the one thing that I messed up on, doing all this extra stuff around here? How about a simple thank you, you know? Think about how that, you know how it would make you feel. Well, yeah, don't berate the ego. You don't need to knock him out and put him in check, man. And now I get to move on to the fun part. And also, mind you, I kind of had a little bit of this part on my own, and then my new friend that I've made, old friend really, but he's new to me here, Yogananda, kind of added on and made it much more palatable, I think, and it's cool, man. You'll know, because this for some people, if it clicks, if it resonates, it's it's definitely, I mean, you don't know me, so you don't know what I talk like, but anyone who knows me would be like, what the hell, that doesn't sound like him. I mean, it kind of might, but no, this wisdom is way, if it is in fact what wisdom, is way beyond me. So the way I was told, and he's like, yeah, and say it like that, but he didn't sound like that. He sounded much more pleasant, but he was just excited. When it comes to the ego and loving it and so on and so forth, well, something he pointed out to me, again, I already had this part, but you'll get it, is that love is also nourishment. And then I was kind of shown how it feels to be nourished, and how it feels to be nourished from, like, it was like they were showing me times where I've been at friends' houses, or the time where I was like homeless or whatever, and some lady hooked me up with some food and things like that, and how that felt. And then I was asked like how it made me feel. I was like, it felt like love, man, you know, like it was awesome. Well, that's what this next part is about, is your ego. It seeks attachment. That's what it's looking for. That's why you have it. Yeah, it's there to help you with, you know, the whole, the survival and the fear to know, fight or flight or whatever, and all that stuff. But there's more to it than that. And it seeks to attach it. It's just right now, it's just attaching to just this one thing. You got it just like that. But the thing is, it's what I was told to say was, give your ego a buffet. Give him a full spread. Give your ego. This is where Mr. Nanda, because you know, added on. He was like, let your ego give him the biggest meal, the most satisfying and fulfilling amount of nourishment it can get, by allowing your ego to attach itself, that's what it's seeking, to everything, that infinite everything that's in the universe. So then it'll be infinitely that love, basically. But you know, you could think of everything as the way you see and know it here. Then it will always be nourished and fulfilled, because love and life is infinite. It goes on forever. And then even when I got this, like, that note as he was explaining it to me, when I was like just chilling at home towards that end part there, because I heard he had like kind of the first part, and then he came and tacked that on, and I literally was sitting there, and in my head I'm like, you could see, like, someone would have seen me. I was like, kind of like, huh? Oh yeah, oh all right, yeah, say what? And then in my head I'm like, holy shit. That's awesome. Dude, did I just hear what you heard what I'm saying? I don't know what he sounds like. But yeah, so that's what I was told. And I mean, like, I had already done this, but they helped me out with putting things into words, because, you know, one of my roles, make it easier. That's what a lot of people's roles here are doing, just to make it so you could just where it's not someone talking in riddles and parables and things. You know, that's a note I could give Jesus, Yeshua. You know, I even mess with him sometimes. I'm like, dude, some of the stuff you said, I'm like, I understand language was limited back then, but dude, Jesus Christ, man, that one for sure, you could have just straight up just said that. Why'd you have to say a stupid, that, like, I know what you did was perfect. I know it was exactly how it's supposed to be. For things now, I got it, but I mean, come on. And he laughs. He's got a great sense of humor. One that I don't even know how many people would be able to fathom or comprehend it. Because anyone who's all serious, you ain't gonna get it. And he ain't serious like that. No one who's in love and whatnot and so-called higher dimensions is like that. We're to be childlike, so children don't really take anything serious. And if you were playing this game that is called life like that, then you'd be a lot happier. But even me saying that, any serious person, this guy's on crack. So, yeah, I hope I got that right and didn't miss anything that I was told to say or that I meant to or wanted to say, but that's kind of my take on the ego, dude, is love your ego, say thank you, same with your shadow self. Since I don't want to do a separate shadow self video, I'll just slap this in as a bonus here at the end. I had seen some video of some lady saying like to take some violet flame torch thing over to your shadow self, like, or whatever, like in your mind, visualize it and do that, and then I don't know, I forgot the rest of what she said, but something about bringing light to it, right? And then I went, let me try that. And so I like did it, and I visualized, and I was like picturing, and I saw got to see me, shadow me, and then I handed him the torch. I think that may have been what she said, like hand him the torch or whatever, you know. And then the thing is like, again, I tend to just tweak things ever so slightly. My brain does this weird whatever, and I don't know, I handed it to him, and I was gonna be like, all right, well, you got your light, you know, you're safe and you're good to go, and we're all good here, right? You know, I'm gonna take off. And then for some reason, it's almost like I like, in my visualizing my mind, I turned around and I went, wait a minute. And my shadow self was like, huh? And I was like, yeah, dude, I don't know if you noticed. Did you notice? And then he was like, what? And I was like, that torch thing, man, the violet flame. You know, the light of God, whatever, you know, the light of source, whatever, something, whatever, you know, and he was just like, yeah, what about it? And I was like, well, did you notice that you don't need the torch? Because, like, that's what you are. Like, did you look at yourself? Dude, look at yourself. And then, in my mind, I saw him like, huh. And he was looking, and he was all aflame. He was flaming. Just all of him was a violet flame, and I was just like, yeah, man. And then I go, you've been light the whole time. And then I went, watch, look, turn that off. Flame off. And I go, you see the shadow, the dark? I go, that's light too. And I was like, you know that, right? You watch the same stuff that I've watched. You know that the darkness is actually just a sword light. You've always been light. You don't need that torch. You're good. And then I just, whether it works or not, or if I just made something up and imagined something and I've got an overactive imagination, all I know is I felt a tremendous amount of love, and I felt different, and I've had people reacting to me different, and people who know me personally commenting on it, and I haven't told anybody what I'm doing. That's one of the ways me as a skeptic has set up to know whether shit's actually real or not, is I don't tell anyone what I'm doing. I just sit back and do stuff and then wonder, like, I wonder if anybody's gonna notice, and then people close to me are like, whoa, dude, I noticed about you lately, blah 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 blah. Yeah, and so I noticed that things got better. People started commenting I don't tell them anything. And, you know, I'd like to think that'd be a way to know of what you're doing. If you think you're working on yourself and making changes in your life, that the people who know you best around you, that are close to you, them commenting on it and saying something when you're not telling them anything, is a way for you to be able to have some type of frame of reference, or reference point or source, to be able to know if the things you're implementing in your life are actually working or not, or having some type of effect whatsoever. And then I also noticed that all of a sudden, after letting the shadow self know that he was light and all that stuff, and I felt something, I was like, what's that? And I went, oh, ego, is that you? Is that you, ego? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, what? You want to be a violet flame too? You want to be light too? And he was like, yeah, I want that too. And I was like, dude, what are you coming to me for? Look at yourself. You already are too. And then he was like, what? Yeah. And I was like, yeah. And I'm like, yeah, both you guys, we're all right. So from here on out, we got this together, right? Like, we're gonna do this. And they were like, oh yeah, dude, we got you. You're awesome. We're awesome. I'm awesome. And I was like, yeah, I know. So let's go, and let's go see how things are from here on out. I guess maybe I might have to tell another story, but I don't want to do that. I think I have another subject I want to move on to. So that one will happen whenever it happens. But yeah, again, that's all I did. I guess that's the other thing too. I had someone mention to me about her shadow self and saying she's doing shadow work, and said it takes years, and she's been at it for years, and me just applying the perception and knowing thing. And I was just like, because that's what I did for myself, and I just like kind of let her know. I was like, you know, basically it's like, I don't remember how I said it, but whatever I said worked, because she asked me for a hug, and then again another person was like, I want to see you again. And I was like, yeah, you will. And she was like, yeah, soon. I'm going to see you soon. I know it. I feel it. And I was like, yeah. You said it, so I said it, so it's already done. But yeah, just kind of, you know, the perception thing is funny, because basically, so long as you think that you have work to be done, it pretty much raises the probability around, and things have to warp to your knowing. So as long as you keep telling yourself that there's work to be done and things you have to do and to improve yourself and so on and so forth, well, then things are going to keep coming up. You're always going to think that you have something to do. You're going to be like freaking Dexter in Dexter's Laboratory with the wrench just cranking away, and the nut, it just going back and forth. It ain't ever gonna get tight, you know. It's why it's so important to know that you're perfect as you are, because once you understand that you don't need to do in order to be, and God made you perfect, just to love that fact and love yourself and love everything else as yourself, because that's what it is, then you're kind of done. And I mean everything. But again, that's a topic I want to do as its own thing, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, just sure, in a sense, for those kind of just starting to remember, those inquiring, and the newbies, yeah, you might have a couple of things here to do, but really all it is shifting your perception of yourself, which I can't wait to cover that one, especially when it comes to those good old NDEs. I don't know why more people I haven't heard say this, because they all say it, but it's like they just skip, like they don't even realize what they're saying. That's what's so funny, is everyone knows the truth, because everyone will consistently say the same thing, even when if it's someone who's completely against and they don't even know anything about any of this stuff. It blurts out of them when they start speaking from the heart. It'll just come right out, and people don't even realize what they're saying. And so it's like, I guess I kind of want to help people to be able to like catch, oh yeah, what, yeah, that's right, I did just say that. Oh, just what that dude said. Holy shit, he was right. And I'll be like, yeah, dude. Yeah, everyone thinks they don't know. You know. You know. The heart knows. So again, my dumbass trying to remember my own tagline that I came up for myself that I don't ever remember to say is, the reason this channel's called You Can Have It Too is because you already do. Bye.